My name is Brother Aaron Minix. I'm a novice for St. Procopius Abbey in Lisle, Illinois. So perhaps some advice for those considering religious life. A big thing is, first of all, visit a monastery. I mean, you have to really experience the life firsthand. You can't just sit at home and wonder about it all the time. You do have to start making some moves. And it might seem daunting at first, but just understand that monasteries and the whole discernment process is set up to where it's supposed to be long and deliberate. You're not committing yourself to anything just by visiting. It's really designed, at first for you to come and see. And so you really do need to do that, to visit a monastery, and particular monasteries. You know, you can go around to several and just see what happens. And don't expect an answer right away. In fact, I would expect not an answer right away. That's certainly not how it happened with me. In my case, while I was teaching, my home parish at that time, the parish where I was living, my pastor there, he was not a Benedictine himself, but he went to St. Meinrad Seminary, which is a Benedictine abbey in southern Indiana, and he had a real affinity for Benedictine spirituality, and he knew St. Procopius Abbey, spent time here, and he really had appreciation for the Benedictine life. And just one day he pointed out that they were having a come and see weekend. It's around the 4th of July. This is 3 years ago now. And by that time, having discerned in diocesan seminary, I knew exactly what that meant and what the process was. A come and see weekend was just that. You come and you see. It's for people who are just perhaps interested but want to find out more. And so I knew going in that there was no pressure, that there was nothing that I was going to sign, there was nothing that I was going to be committing to at that point. It was just to see, okay, what is this place like? So I went. And to be honest, it didn't blow me away right at that time. I mean, I enjoyed it, but I really didn't think that I was going to be going into it. But really, what really helped was keeping in contact with our Vocation Director, Brother Kevin, and we would just talk. We would just meet up every month or so. We would have coffee, and we would just talk about really anything, my life, how my teaching, how things like that, things we were both interested in, things like that. And the relationship grew, and I would visit the Abbey every once in a while again, kind of see. And again, it was very low pressure, and it was a very organic experience, and I think that's a big key for any discernment. It should feel natural in a way. It shouldn't feel forced. It shouldn't feel like, I'm not sure about this, I'm kind of unsure still, I don't know, I feel like, that things are going too fast or anything like that. It should really feel, natural and that a natural growth and progression. And not to say that there won't be challenges, of course there will be and there should be. It should not be an easy thing. In fact, I think that's another important sign is that, and in fact for me it was important that I didn't want this to be easy, because if it was easy, frankly it wasn't worth doing. It's one of the reasons why I wanted to teach as well. I mean, teaching wasn't easy, but it wasn't supposed to be easy. The best things in life aren't supposed to be easy. And that's true for any vocation, marriage, religious life, priesthood. There's going to be challenges. There's going to be joys, but there's going to be challenges. And I think there needs to be that aspect of both involved. There needs to be something that is going to challenge you, but there also needs to be a real joy as well. That has to be present as well. If that's completely lacking, if it's just a grind the whole time, then that's not a good sign in terms of your vocational call. I'd say some other things to do is to start praying, particularly for a monastic vocation. Begin praying the Liturgy of the Hours, the Divine Office. You can get a copy, print copies. There's online versions of the Liturgy of the Hours. It's the set prayer of the church, as a matter of fact. All priests and religious have to pray this, but I learned to pray it in seminary, and I fell in love with it. And that, to me, was one of the things that was a marker for my monastic vocation, that I fell in love with the Liturgy of the Hours, and I kept up with it even after I left diocesan seminary. It became that much a part of my life, and it really is the anchor for the monastic day. And also in seminary, I learned to chant it, and I fell in love with that as well. And when I first came to St. Procopius, that's one of the things that attracted me to this place in this life, was that we chant the Liturgy of the Hours as much as we can. And I really fell in love with that again, and I really do appreciate that aspect of it. But also in general, just develop a practice of private prayer on your own. Develop a discipline of it. Devotions, daily Mass if you can, things like that. If you can, find a spiritual director to help you discern this. Just someone, a priest or another religious perhaps, just to talk about things and say, this is where I'm at, can you give me some direction? And that's all it is, it's direction. They're not going to tell you, you must do this, you must not do that, in terms of you must become a monk, you must, things like that. They'll say, I think, they'll give their opinions and they'll tell you, okay, try this and that, but most of spiritual direction in my experience has been listening. As in, the spiritual director listens, and you have to give that person what's on your mind and on your heart, and if you ask them, they'll give you their opinion, but a lot of it is just someone safe, as it were, to reveal your heart to, and that you can talk to them about this vocation, and to help you discern. And it's really, at the end of the day, you have to make the decision. No one can force you into any vocation, marriage or religious life or priesthood or anything. At the end of the day, you have to decide, yes, I am going to do that, or no, I am not going to do this because I feel God is calling me somewhere else. And I'd say another thing to do is to foster silence, is to learn to listen to God. That can be very, very difficult, especially in this day and age and the culture we live in. But it's important to do that, and a good way to do that, I think, is reading the scriptures and practicing Lectio Divina, which is another monastic hallmark. Prayerful reading of the scriptures. Not going through it just to read it for information, not going through it quickly, but focusing on a smaller section of it. Usually the Gospels, but it could be any part of Scripture. Going over it slowly, talking to God about it, listening, going back to that same passage again and again. Maybe not every day, but every once in a while, going back to that passage, and just seeing how God speaks to you through that. And so I'd say those are some of the main things in terms of vocational discernment. Certainly helped me, and I hope they can help you too.